All right, so we're going to do a second video on election, and this time election and how people label each other in the context of politics. Like, oh, those Republicans are so terrible, or oh, those Democrats are the worst.
Those liberals.
Those liberals are the worst.
They're the horrible.
I hate them.
Labeling is one of my 10 distortions on my list of 10 cognitive distortions that I first published in my book, Feeling Good, and it came out in 1980. And what it is, the depressive labeling, it's when you label your entire self with a label, like I'm a loser, I'm defective, I'm inferior, I'm a hopeless case. The thoughts are, on the one hand, untrue because they're distorted, but they're also very devastating because you don't realize you're fooling yourself when you use those terms and you think it's true. So you feel worthless, you feel hopeless, you feel unlovable. And of course, then you say, emotional reasoning, I feel it, so it must be true. Well, that's important in recovery from depression and anxiety, but that's not our topic for today so much. It's more when we label other people. And that's called other blame. And, we do it in daily life. We have someone we don't like, or they say something that hurts your feelings or whatever, and we say, oh, that guy's just a jerk, or he's a loser. And then it's upsetting. You get angry with the person, and then you feel like you want to put them down because you're pissed off at them, and so you start acting in a snotty or nasty way rather than a respectful way. And then they get pissed off and they do treat you like a jerk. And you say, yeah, I was right. He is a jerk. Look, he's always acting like a jerk. And what you don't realize is you're creating your own interpersonal reality because it's not true that the other person is a jerk. What is true is you're forcing them to act in a negative manner. And I'm not denying that jerky behavior exists. We all act in a jerky way from time to time, including yours truly, and including Jeremy, rarely, not since yesterday, but we all act jerky sometimes, but there's no such thing as a jerk. That's when you think, that's when you're turning people, human beings, yourself or another person, into a bad object that you just think you've captured what the other person really is, the whole of their self, the whole of their life in this category. And the problem, it's like a form of hypnosis that humans are so susceptible to, is when you use terms like that, you hypnotize yourself instantly, and then you think about all the things about the other person that you don't like, and you say, oh, they really are a jerk, they really are a bad and inferior person. And it can happen politically, too. It happened.
Hitler did that.
Yeah.
He was huge on that. They said, oh, every time I look for a problem in Germany, I see like a Jewish infestation at the source of the problem. And and they pictured Jews as rats. And when you think of people as objects rather than humans with a soul, with love, with flaws, with strengths, with totally unique. Everyone is totally individual. But when you reduce people to a bad object, then you begin to think like Hitler and the people of Germany. Well, we have the right to kill those rats, and the whole country fell for it. Extermination camps, concentration camps, horrific abuse and torture and killing of people who were Jewish, or people who were so-called gypsies, whatever that is, or people with severe mental problems were put to death. And everyone thinks, oh, it's all those concentration camps in remote areas, but they had the ovens pretty much in every town and village in Germany, and you could smell the smell coming out every day of people who had been killed and were being burned to death. And so what does that have to do with our election? Well, you see, we're more divided as a country than we've ever been, and because hatred is a part of it. And a lot of Trump enthusiasts have bought into the language that the Democrats or people.
They call them demo rats. Demon rats, actually.
Demon rats.
Yeah,
oh, I didn't know. That's a good one there. Yeah, or the arrogant liberals, or they think they're so smart.
Yeah, the MAGA people are just like maggots or something.
Oh that's right. And when you get that way, it fuels you, and it's exciting. And
it's fun to look down on people.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah, you feel superior, and that's what Hitler said, that the Aryan people are the superior people. And we have that thing in America too, that we're special. What's that thing?
American exceptionalism.
Oh yeah, American exceptionalism, and you're actually a bad person if you don't believe it. But it isn't true. The Americans are just humans, and our country has a lot to be proud of and a tremendous amount to be ashamed of. And we're multicolor, multidimensional. But the problem is when you blame others and label them, it creates feelings of rage and moral superiority, and so it becomes kind of like an addiction, and that's why labeling other people, distortions aimed at other people, are much more difficult to correct than your own emotions.
You're not motivated to challenge them. It feels good to feel better, to feel superior. Yeah, totally.
And so a colleague, Teresa, who helps with the videos, say something about labeling and the election. So that's kind of what we've said about it now.
I have one little story actually for you.
Yeah, cool.
A few months ago, I was driving a pickup truck. I don't normally drive a pickup truck. It's my father-in-law's. And I was driving a pickup truck in San Francisco, where I live. And San Francisco is just about the most liberal, anti-Trump city in America. And but I was driving my pickup truck, and I got stuck on a hill. And I thought, oh boy, if I put the car into drive, I'm going to go straight into a pole and take down like an electrical pole.
Oh, wow.
And I had one wheel up, so I had only 3 wheels touching.
Wow.
And I thought, oh my God, I'm totally screwed. I'm going to have to call, a tow truck, and I don't even know how they're going to get me hooked up to a tow truck on this hill. I'm done for. My whole day is gone, and I just have to pray that this disaster doesn't evolve into a really worse situation.
How long ago was this?
This was in August.
Oh.
So just a few months ago. And then this guy walked by wearing a Trump hat, and I don't know if I've ever seen anyone in San Francisco before with a Trump hat, but he saw that I was stuck, and he just walked over and said, "Oh, are you stuck? Do you need any help?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I do need some help," and he couldn't have been nicer, and he knew exactly what to do to get the pickup truck out of there.
Yeah.
And so I escaped, and I was just his name was Gary, actually. He lives 3 blocks from me. And it was just couldn't have been a nicer guy, and it was just an interesting example of sometimes you could look at in San Francisco, most people would look at someone like that and say, oh, it's one of those terrible Trump supporters. We should run those guys out of town. But actually, he couldn't have been a kinder, more helpful person on that day.
And another thing where you folks helped us or helped me, Jeremy and I did this video. It's getting quite popular now on the election, and it was not political. It was how Republicans and Democrats can feel extreme disappointment when your candidate loses. And so it was really not a rabble-rousing video at all. And I didn't know how it would go down. And in fact, there was one person on the internet who I guess that was about the election, just started cursing and claiming that this is a piece of shit or something.
Sure.
I'm sure they never even looked at the video, and I got one of those, in my email too.
Oh, did you?
So from somebody, but I was
someone who's just real angry about.
Yeah, and I'm sure she never even looked at the video. It was just the title. But many people had really positive reactions, including a lot of number from Trump supporters who said, "This is such a wonderful thing, and God bless you for making this video." And
it was really cool to see.
You couldn't agree more. And it was so interesting that when I saw those praising comments, I said, "Wow, this person is really a nice person. I love this person. I hope they keep, And I suddenly, my feelings instantly changed.
Started to see them as a wonderful human with a lot to offer instead of just reducing them down to their political identity.
Well, I mean, we can label Trump supporters
And I'm just doing this for the video because I don't want Trump to come after me on some list and throw me in prison or something. But you might be labeling Trump supporters as kind of brain dead people who didn't go to college and they're stupid. And they're
religious
crude.
fanatics. Or,
they're religious fanatics. They're real biased and closed-minded and hostile, violent.
Maybe people say they're racist or this or that.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I think the Trump supporters might label liberals. They'll say they're baby killers. They're overeducated with college, but they got no common sense, and they don't care about our country, and they hate our country.
Yeah,
things like that.
And they think they're better than everyone else.
Yeah,
and we can't help it if we're better. Anyway, those are some examples of labeling. So, and I'm sure your brain is filled with dozens more. So that's the whole thing. On labeling, I don't know if it's the whole thing, but it's all about.
It's 72% of a thing.
Yeah. So, can you think of any closing comments? If you like you go ahead.
What should people do if they want to change like a labeling? If they see themselves maybe labeling. Maybe it's your father-in-law's a Trump supporter, or your father-in-law's a Kamala supporter, and you start to label them really negatively. Is there something for people to do? Is there a practical message?
It has to start with motivation.
Right.
It can't work with logic.
Right. You wouldn't say, try to challenge that right away.
Yeah.
Just backfire.
Because if someone wants to hate someone and put someone down, they're going to do it, and no amount of logic in the world is going to deter them.
Yeah.
And so the first thing is if you're labeling people and you're unhappy with it, then you could maybe make a list of all the benefits of labeling other people.
Like if I get to feel superior, and it's something I can feel special about, and maybe I like arguing, and it's kind of fun to get into it with them.
Yeah, and there's truth in my criticisms of the other person, because everyone does have a lot of flaws, and I don't have to examine my role in any conflict that we're having, and just, you should be able to come up with 10 or 15 advantages and list them and number them, and then read them and ask yourself, well, maybe that isn't something I want to give up.
Yeah. And we would probably encourage people on average not to give that up.
Yeah.
Because you're probably having a lot of fun with your labeling.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you find that you don't like the labeling of your daughter's boyfriend or whatever, and want to take the road less traveled by, then maybe they could try the app. Would the app have anything?
The app could be really helpful for negative labeling thoughts, like, he's so terrible, or they shouldn't think the way they do, they shouldn't vote the way they do.
As well as when we label ourselves.
The app is really good for those self-labels, like I'm not good enough. Or
where would I find this app? Like in the grocery store?
It doesn't exist. We just made it up.
Yeah. So that's all for today.
The app is called the Feeling Great app. You can go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and find it there. And you can use it for free for a week. And if you can't afford it, we'll give it to you for free. Just write into us at support@feelinggreat.com.
Also, you can go to our website, feelinggreat.com, and find out all about the app there. So anyway, Teresa, there's our thing on labeling. I hope you liked it, and if we missed the boat, let us know, and we'll do it again one of these video sessions.
Yeah.